Donald Trump has completely folded yet again with respect to his ceasefire deadline that was imposed by the previous negotiations with Iran. It was set to expire in a few hours, and Donald Trump continued to threaten Iran that you better accept our terms or else. Donald Trump posted previously that he was going to start destroying bridges and civilian infrastructure. Donald Trump then had this naval blockade around the Persian Gulf, and he started interdicting at least 2 Iranian ships. And Donald Trump's like, you like this? We're going to escalate even more if you don't negotiate with us. So we're going to send J.D. Vance and Witkoff and Kushner to Islamabad, and you better negotiate with us. And Iran was like, we're not going to negotiate with you as long as you have a naval blockade in the Persian Gulf. We believe that is a violation of the ceasefire terms, and we view it as an act of war. We're also not going to negotiate with you under constant threats and based on your contradicting statements. One day you're going to destroy the civilization. The next day you're saying you're going to make a deal that's better than Obama's. We need clarity in these discussions. And Iran said, as long as the naval blockade exists and Trump continues to misrepresent our negotiating positions, we're not showing up to Iran. So Foreign Minister Araghchi, MB Ghalibaf, the parliament leader, and others who were part of the Iranian negotiating team signaled to the mediator Pakistan that as long as Donald Trump continues down this path, Iran was not going to show up to Islamabad, Pakistan. Now, remember last week, Donald Trump said last Thursday there was going to be discussions in Islamabad. That didn't happen. For the past 3 days, Donald Trump is saying J.D. Vance, Witkoff, and Kushner, they're on their way. They're on their way. Or how about at the end of last week when Donald Trump said Iran agreed to all of our terms, right? They're basically surrendering in the negotiation in order to manipulate the markets on Friday. Well, now Donald Trump posted that the ceasefire deadline is going to be unilaterally extended by the United States. And then Donald Trump blames Iran and saying, Iran, they're so disorganized. So we're going to have to extend the ceasefire deadline because of how disorganized they were. Then Iran's leadership was like, we didn't request the extension of the ceasefire. That's all Donald Trump's doing. We are just holding firm on the 10-point framework we previously negotiated with the Trump regime. If they want to agree that we negotiate within our framework and they agree to our non-negotiables, we'll show up in Pakistan. But if not, we're not going to show up, waste our time, and then have Donald Trump use our appearance to further psychologically distort the reality on the ground and manipulate the media. We're not even going to show up to dignify the United States. Just think about that. The United States, which once, when it would, we used to have countries begging to meet with the United States. Now you have Iran saying, we can't even be in the same room as you because being around you is going to cause distortion and lies, and it will look bad upon us to even be near you with all of your behavior. So here's what Donald Trump posted moments ago. Statement of Donald J. Trump as Trump folds. The statement is as follows. Based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and in all other respects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other. President Donald J. Trump. So basically a indefinite extension, unclear, no more deadlines. And then Donald Trump blames Iran for not having a unified proposal when back in early March, Iran put forward its unified proposal, the 10-point framework. Before the ceasefire was entered, Donald Trump agreed to Iran's 10-point framework. Whether you like or don't like the framework, it doesn't matter. Iran's platform and unified framework was that. Trump agreed to it. Then Trump's like, oh, the Iranians don't know English. So that's why the 10-point framework that I agreed to was different than what Iran's been saying it is. And Iran's saying, you agreed to this, so we'll negotiate there, but we have no reason to negotiate with you otherwise. And then Donald Trump here further extending the blockade, which Iran views as an act of war. Iran saying, we never asked for this ceasefire. Your blockade is an act of war. And stop misrepresenting us that we're not unified. What are you talking about? And then what the Trump regime did is they reached out to Barack Ravid and all of their usual suspects, who act as stenographers for the regime and are propagandists for the regime, like Barack Ravid and others. And they're like, we hear the reason why that this had to be extended is because we were waiting to hear from the Ayatollah Mojaba and he hasn't responded yet. No, it's because Donald Trump once again did a taco. He chickened out. He threatened something and he wasn't able to actually follow through. And Iran's like, we don't want to meet with you. Iran never requested an extension of the ceasefire arrangements with the U.S., is what Iranian media is stating. An advisor to Iranian Parliament Speaker MB Ghalibaf says Trump's ceasefire extension makes no sense, calling it an attempt to buy time for a surprise attack and claiming Iran currently holds the initiative as tensions escalate. From Iranian's Tasman News, here's what they posted. What is the meaning of Trump's time-free extension? According to information obtained by Tasnim from various sources, Iran had not requested an extension of the ceasefire, and Trump's announcement regarding the extension of the ceasefire without specifying any timeline for this matter could carry with it several implications. Number one, Trump has been defeated in the war and had also examined all possible scenarios during the war. Trump knows that he will achieve nothing through war, so he considers exiting the war as the best option for himself, because even if he continues the war with a foolish decision, he will gain no achievement too. Although the war will bring no gains for America, one should not deem it unlikely from Trump's side that anything, including the extension of the ceasefire, might be a deception. Trump may claim to extend the ceasefire, but afterwards, the same terrorist American government or his rabid regional dog, namely Israel, might resort to assassination. According to Tasnim's information, this option is definitely in the minds of Iranian officials, and Iran does not take this matter lightly. 3. Another possibility is the United States withdrawing from the war while Israel remains in this war under the pretext of a ceasefire violation in Lebanon. However, Americans have previously been warned that the United States cannot unilaterally escape the war while keeping Israel in the fight. 4. Iran will not reopen at least the Strait of Hormuz until the naval blockade continues, and if necessary, it will forcefully break the blockade. 5. America is seeking to perpetuate the shadow of war and suspend the economy and politics in Iran. America thinks that the situation is the same as after the 12-day war. If America wants to maintain the shadow of war, it must also consider the Strait of Hormuz to be completely closed. Now, what is Donald Trump doing while all of these statements are coming out? Donald Trump just held a press conference and he talks about college sports and men and women's sports or whatever, this red meat for his MAGA bases. While all of this is going on, Donald Trump just held a press conference, and here's what he said during the press conference. Play this clip.
You are winners. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. The athletes here today represent the very best of that grit and determination and teamwork. That's why under my administration, we're fighting hard to save college sports. What's happening is crazy. It's crazy. And what we want to do is help athletes, or like all of you in this room. And as soon as I took office, I ended a terrible injustice and banned men from competing in women's sports. I don't know if anybody agrees. Does anybody agree with that? That men should be able to play in women's sports? Would you like to raise your hand? Well, so far I have never found anybody, but they say it's an 80-20 issue, but I've never been able to find anybody. So I think it's a 99-1. Maybe it's a little bit more than that, Coach, right? Maybe it's 100-0. I campaigned on that one all the time. I say there will be no men in women's sports, and people would go crazy. But I mean it. But you're politically correct, so.
After the holiday chaos, cooking is the last thing I want to overthink. Home Chef is helping me reset with simple recipes, fresh ingredients, and meals that feel balanced and achievable. It's the easiest way to get back into a routine without resorting to takeout. Home Chef makes cooking simple, fresh food delivered, easy recipes to follow, and meals that actually taste great. And people really love it. Home Chef is rated #1 by users of other meal kits for quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. They've worked with chefs like Gordon Ramsay, and now they're partnering with Giada De Laurentiis, bringing restaurant-quality recipes straight to your kitchen. You'll find these chef-inspired recipes across Home Chef's culinary collection, classic meal kits, and express options, each designed to help you feel confident in your kitchen. Whatever kind of day you're having, Home Chef has you covered, from classic recipes with fresh ingredients and 30-minute meals to oven-ready trays and quick microwave lunches. There's even a dedicated family menu for easy 4 or 6 serving dinners. And it's not one size fits all. Home Chef has over 30 meal options each week with choices for different diets and tastes. Plus, it's affordable. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 50% off and free shipping for your first box plus free dessert for life. Go to homechef.com/Meidas. That's homechef.com/Meidas for 50% off your first box and free dessert for life. homechef.com/Meidas. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert.
Now, as the Kobayashi letter explains, we have obtained more detail on Iran's final decision not to attend the talks with U.S. and Pakistan. So Iran said they're not showing up. Then Donald Trump extends the ceasefire unilaterally when Iran didn't request it. And then Trump blames Iran like the sociopath he is, showing how weak and pathetic he is. Details include Iran says Pakistan brokered the 10-point ceasefire plan was proposed. Iran believes this plan was undermined by weak enforcement. Iran believes the plan is also undermined by ongoing maritime pressure, namely Trump's naval blockade. Iranian officials believe talks are pointless amid the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has informed the U.S. via Pakistan mediators that it will not be attending the talks on Wednesday. AP is now reporting that Vice President Vance called off the trip with Witkoff and Kushner. They said they're not going to show up. Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi posted the following message also. Blockading Iranian ports is an act of war and thus a violation of the ceasefire. Striking a commercial vessel and taking its crew hostage is an even greater violation. Iran knows how to neutralize restrictions, how to defend its interests, and how to resist bullying. Now, Iran just released this video as well as one of those Lego memes it does to taunt Donald Trump, showing the mood that it's in right now. Here, play this. Now, California Governor Gavin Newsom posted the following message moments ago. Open the strait, close the strait. We are blockading, lift the sanctions, impose new sanctions. JD's in Pakistan. JD's not in Pakistan. Still blockading. We have an agreement. There's no agreement. That is fake news. Bombing again soon, maybe. Look at the reality of the Strait of Hormuz right now. As the U.S. gives Iran an indefinite ceasefire extension for future negotiations, the Strait of Hormuz remains effectively closed. Iran demonstrated over the weekend that it was able and willing to enforce the closure by firing on neutral ships or any ships that disobeyed. Also today, the White House has continued to formally present Congress with its $1.5 trillion Pentagon budget, which is a 42% increase year over year, while they say they don't have enough money for you to have health care. While they want to kill you by ripping away your health care, they want to kill little girls and commit genocide with trillions of dollars of your taxpayer money going to it. 50% of total budget request is aimed at buying munitions, planes, tanks, and ships right there. And it should be noted that the Iranian ambassador to Pakistan, Reza Moghadam, said the following. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single country in possession of a large civilization will not negotiate under threat and force. This is a substantial Islamic and theological principle. I wish the U.S. would have perceived it. That's where we are right now. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Donald Trump folds. Iran is mocking him. Never have I seen in ever the United States looking so weak as it does under Donald Trump and this regime.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.